here's your host, Henry Thomas. And welcome into this week's edition of the Involved program. We have a full program for you today. Coming up a little bit later on, Heather Mash with the Chamber of Commerce of Smyth County will be with us, and she's going to make an announcement and announce some of the winners of the Smyth County Christmas Decorating Contest that went on a few weeks ago. Also on the program today, Marion Mayor David Helms and BFW Post number 4667 Commander Dirk Johnson's going to be with us. But right now I'd like to welcome Sarah Combs. Sarah is the administrator of the Sugar Grove website and the Sugar Grove Facebook page. Sarah, welcome to the Involved program.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us on the program. How long have you been working on this, trying to get cell service into the area?
Well, this particular effort, we started about the middle of July. We started doing some research on current cellular service in Smyth County and reasons why we may not be served in Sugar Grove.
How long have you, I know you're a resident of Sugar Grove. Is that your hometown, or where are you from?
I am from Sugar Grove.
Right from Sugar Grove, huh? Been working on this ever since this past summer. What is the website?
The community website is sugargroveba.com.
And you have lots of things on there. What can people see on that website?
Well, you can see community events. You can see information on living in Sugar Grove, visiting Sugar Grove, just the general interest of the public that you might look up on the internet.
So you would say that Sugar Grove between Marion and, say, like Balney or Grayson County is sort of a dead space right there for cell service, right?
Yes, it is. Recently on Bear Branch over in Balney, and that's western Grayson County, they established cellular service. They erected a tower that was powered on November 1st, and that tower now provides service all the way into Troutdale, which is approximately an 8-mile drive from Sugar Grove.
I wonder why this hasn't been done before.
Well, there have been attempts from Darlene Nitch, I believe in 2006. January was the last time that anything was attempted, and at that time there was a resolution on the record that I found from the Board of Supervisors, and they wanted to establish service. They said that there was an urgent need for it, and I have not been able to find any other mentions since that date, between that date and when we began researching this in July.
Have you done a survey of the residents in that area?
We have a community Facebook page, and it's been online for about 2 years now, longer than the website. And currently there are about 650 people who use that page, and we have had nothing but a positive response from the community in general. You know, the service providers such as our rescue squad, the fire department, the community council, they all agree that we need this service.
That's desperately needed.
Yes.
For emergency purposes, say someone gets stranded on Sugar Grove Mountain or where the old Sugar Grove Diner used to be, and places like that. Someone gets stranded over there.
Yes, you may be familiar with a payphone that used to be located in that area. That payphone has not been there. It used to be in front of Paul's Garage. Not been there in at least 15 to 20 years. So we have no available phone service other than landline phones that you may access when you travel through Sugar Grove.
Or knock on somebody's door or something. But, payphones are a thing of the past.
Yes, they are.
I don't think I've seen one in a long time.
Neither have I.
But anyway, talk about all of the things that you're trying to do to establish cell service in that area and the folks that you've been in contact with.
We started out at the end of July. We made contact with a lot of elected officials, and I sent a form email to those officials. Jeff Campbell, who was running for delegate, he is delegate now, he responded to one such inquiry, and we had a meeting at Sugar Grove School, a community meeting similar to the one we're going to host in January. He spoke to the community. We had, as best I could count, we had over 100 people at that meeting. The gym at Sugar Grove Combined School was completely full. And he basically just laid out a plan of action that we could start to begin this process, and it was that we sign letters of intent and file those letters with our Board of Supervisors to request action in that we could perhaps establish cellular service in the future.
And you're going to have a meeting coming up in January, is that right?
Yes, that is.
a community meeting. Exactly when's that going to be and where's it going to be?
The meeting is going to be held at Sugar Grove Combined School, and it will be at 7 p.m. on January 14th.
Now, has anybody approached you with their preference as to which cell service provider they would like to have?
Well, obviously everybody would like to be served, but due to business constraints, it's not feasible for a provider to come in and spend money in a smaller rural area, and that pretty much is across the board. But I think that right now any cellular provider would be welcome in the Sugar Grove area.
Like Sprint, Verizon,
Yes.
Straight Talk?
Any
Maybe,
provider.
Yeah, maybe Straight Talk is right off the Verizon towers. But is there anything else that you've put together that you'd like to talk about this morning on this situation?
Well, I would like to ask everyone listening in the Sugar Grove area to please let your Board of Supervisors Representative Rick Blevins know how important this service is to our community. We have, since the research process began, our Community Council, Rescue Squad, and Fire Department have all come forward with demonstrated need for these services, and it came to my attention that the Sugar Grove Life-Saving Crew was denied some grant money for some very expensive telemedicine equipment, and they received this grant for excellence in service, so they were denied because we don't have cellular service available to us in our community. The equipment runs on cellular service, and that effectively puts their job performance behind that of other departments in that serve Smyth County.
Right.
Another thing that I took upon myself to do was some research because I was consistently getting the same response from our Board of Supervisors. I've been in front of them 3 different times now. I've contacted SBA and Crown Castle. Those are both companies that own and manage towers that are already existing in Smyth County and, of course, nationwide. Crown Castle contacted me, they responded, and I'm going to read from their email. They say that you may register your properties at the Crown Castle website, and there was information posted on the community page about that, how people can register their properties. This company is interested in possibly locating towers, but they need properties to look at in order to do that.
So do they buy these properties, or do they rent these properties, or what do they do?
According to their website, there are options for purchasing properties or leasing properties.
And there's a lot of residents in that area that's willing to do that?
Yes, I have developed a list of people that they've just come to me and said, hey, I've got property that I would like to make available or lease, if there's ever a need. So I took their names at that point, and this was earlier, before I had this email. And I've just maintained a list of anybody that said they had properties, and if and when the point comes, I can turn over that list to a provider that may service the area.
Well, sounds great. The cell service would be a big asset to that area.
Yes.
I mean, to tell you, a lot of people would prosper off of cell service in the Sugar Grove area. And say it goes over into, they have it in Grayson County now down to Troutdale, is that right?
Yes, I have a phone, and I was driving in the car along Sugar Grove Highway, which becomes Troutdale Highway, and you actually will get service within a half-mile of crossing over into Grayson County. And that service, of course, continues along the main road, and the tower's down near Volney. So once you go past that point toward Independence, you're going to lose service, but then you pick it up again in Independence. So that's definitely a really big step, I think, for Western Grayson County, because they did not have these services, and I believe that that's partially contributed to the Grant Community Computing Center, because they have established a broadband network. It's a community service. It is completely funded by grant money, and they've just done a really nice job over there.
They've got a nice center over there.
Yes, they do.
We hear from those folks a lot. You've got this meeting coming up on January the 14th. What can we expect out of this meeting?
Well, my expectation is that our representative, Rick Blevins, who represents the Rye Valley District, which encompasses Sugar Grove, I would like to see him bring some new information, some resources, and perhaps more suggestions on how we can make this work. I know that I've mentioned several times in front of the Board of Supervisors that there is a lot of grant money available and that we meet the criteria as far as being a rural community, but I don't see anybody making a move to establish an account here and say, okay, we're going to put money in this fund for cell service in Sugar Grove. I know that they've already been awarded money from the tobacco grant for other things in Smyth County, and it was a tobacco grant that I understand was responsible for the tower networks. I believe it was along Route 19 between Lebanon and Tazewell. I think there's 28 towers in that network, which, that was huge for them.
Yeah, and that would be huge for Sugar Grove just to get something like that, right?
Yes.
Now, is there a committee coming together, a Sugar Grove committee coming together on this?
Right now, we don't have a so-called committee, but in the future, we may need to create one. I've been working with the Sugar Grove Community Council, and they meet once a month, and we just talk about things in the community, different community events, and lately this has been something that's been on their radar, so we may look in the future at creating some type of a committee to manage a grant fund if that becomes available.
Okay, let me ask you about Sarah Combs, your background.
Okay.
What do you do?
Right now, my job right now is I write real estate content for websites. I've done some work for a company down in Myrtle Beach. I'm also a social media manager on the side, and I work for the Edith Bowling Wilson Birthplace Museum up in Wytheville on occasion. And I also have done some work for Davy Jones of the Monkees. I currently manage his Facebook page for his estate right now.
And Davy Jones of the Monkees, yeah. He's still around, huh?
No, unfortunately, he passed away.
He passed away? How many years ago was that?
Almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February.
I may have heard that, but, I'm getting old. Mind is going. But anyway, Sarah, we hope that a lot of folks will show up for this big meeting coming up on January the 14th. Is that right?
That's correct.
At the Sugar Grove Combined School for the cell service towers in the Sugar Grove area. What time does that get underway?
7 o'clock that afternoon.
7 o'clock that evening.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to having you back on our program so you can give us updates on the ongoing progress.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'd love to.
And maybe we could get some of the Sugar Grove committee that you were talking about, residents council or whatever it is, to come up and talk about what they have going on.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they would love to.
All right. Sarah, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to having you back.